Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and I do want to thank everybody for your continued patience. So, we are moved into the new house. I am here, the new Wampa Cave. It's just been a lot. Not just moving, but we've had a lot of hiccups with our closing and stuff, and so just trying to schedule all that, going back and forth and things. It's just been a lot of stress, so haven't had time to put together some videos for you guys over the past few days, and really it's been spotty over the past few weeks. So I do apologize. I really thank you for your continued support, especially to my channel members. Guys, massive shout out to all of you. You all are amazing. I really appreciate your continued support of this channel. And again, as we get back into live streaming, get back on our regularly scheduled content, you guys are going to get the priority as always because you are channel members and that's what comes along with it. So thank you guys again so much for your support. Let's get into our video, guys. I want to talk about Cal Kestis. And this was a topic that came from Wombat, and he's like, you should do one on his Cal Kestis, worth it. And I actually think this is a really good topic because I think a lot of times we see the new things come into the game. We're like, ooh, new shiny toy. I need to go get that like right away. And that's not really the case. I think Cal is a fantastic character. His requirements I actually am a big fan of, but let's kind of dive into the video and let's talk about Cal Kestis. So the first thing we need to talk about is our king. Obviously, he's now sitting on his lofty Relic 8 throne, looking down at all the peasants, as he calls them, tauntauns. But is Cal worth it? So I don't really care what Capital Games says. He's a Jedi Master Luke lifter, right? That's just it. He's a Jedi Master Luke lifter. I don't care what they say. Like, I understand you're supposed to use him in territory battles, but that's not a good enough reason for 99.9% of this player base to get this character. He's a Jedi Master Luke lifter. That's the big reason. Obviously, our king is here, and so I'm just going to say this now. I think for 10,000, we will Relic 9 a Galactic Legend. I just don't see myself having a... I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe we'll do a Relic 9 Galactic Legend or a character at that level. Unless there's a guild requirement or something, I really can't see myself. I'm not going to lie. I'm a pretty honest guy, straight up with you guys. I can't see myself investing Relic 9 in a character that isn't needed for platoons, and my guild already has somebody with a Relic 8 cup. So it would be stupid for me to go Relic 9 cup and spend Relic 8 materials when I could do that on a character that we don't already have close to be there. So anyway, just something I'd throw out there, right? So there'll be a Relic 9 Galactic Legend at 10k if I don't have them all at that point. Who knows? Could be a long time with the way the channel's been growing because I can't post content. Anyway, all right. So Cal Kestis, that was a massive intro here. Cal is massively worth it. Cal is really, really worth this. I love Cal Kestis. I love these requirements. I mean, they're honestly all really good. I think they all fill a very specific need that was lacking in this game, right? Cere Junda kind of leading some of those leftover unaligned Force users. Cal being a part of that team or being able to get split off into Starkiller, into Rey has been fantastic. Tarfful bringing the leftover Wookiees to life. Saw Gerrera bringing back the Chase and Wigs meta. And then Marin being a massive lift to Night Sisters, which all of those things were needed in this game. Very much so. From even if you're like new in the game, you could see how all of those things needed somebody to kind of pull them together, and these 5 characters have done that for those particular factions, and it's amazing to see. I really love them. So let's start with Marin on the Night Sisters. I mean, she's a massive boost to this team. I'm farming her off of her fleet node. I love Marin. I've gotten to use her. She finally made Secrets and Shadows a thing, right? That you could actually beat that with Night Sisters. So that's awesome. What I really like about her is she adds a layer of complexity that was missing from the Night Sisters before. That there were a lot of very cheap counters that Marin is now stopping, and I think that was the big thing that was missing. Is there were certain counters that were just like a layup, right? Like your Imperial Troopers would walk all over this team. And now with Marin in there, things can be a little bit different, and she could maybe throw a wrench in that. So I do really like that. Really do think she was a fantastic boost to this faction and something that they needed, right? This is a faction that I think a lot of players from like the late game, right, we have built up because they were good at something, and I think a lot of players are kind of skipping this faction, and Marin's kind of give you a reason to build them up. So Saw Gerrera, obviously, Chase and Wigs, that was the 2016 meta, right? I mean, that was, pre, crazy legendaries and stuff. Wedge, Biggs, Lando with Chirrut and Baze was the meta, and it was obscene. Gosh, it was obscene. This was like the most broken team ever. At one point in this game, Sharut Imwe was the hardest hitting character. If that tells you guys anything. Low reminiscence there. But no, like, this is fantastic. Like, they're characters that I think a lot of players at that late to end game had from just our years of playing this game. Like, you look, my Sharut and Baze are gear 12. So when I do eventually go get Saw Gerrera, it's not that much more investment for me. And that was something that I really liked about these requirements, is that they were really intended for, you guys are going to kind of see how I think of, Cal Kestis, but that, as you've built your roster throughout the, time that you've played this game, you start leading into these teams and factions that you'll be able to kind of top off with this farm towards Cal Kestis. And that's one of the big things that I think he really does well. So, we've got the Growling Noises team, right? So, you got Tarfful, you've got some leftover Wookiees here. Of the requirements, I think Tarfful is the one I was least excited about. Only because, Clone Wars Chewie is a friggin' meme. Veteran Smuggler Chewbacca, who? And then, Zalbar, fine, whatever. It's just, I don't know, as much as I love Wookiees, like, my favorite Wookiees are all right here, right? These guys are all way too cool for Tarfful, right? Like, they are way too cool for Tarfful. You're not going to put these guys with Tarfful. Which is fine, right? You've got this 5th slot over here that you can put Mission or Vet Smuggler Han or somebody, but this was the team I was probably least excited about, even though it's so cool that they did this, right? Like, massive props to them for kind of creating somebody to be the leader for this. I don't know. I can't get as excited about the Wookiees as I would love to be, right? And I don't know. Maybe I'm just different, but, like, I got super excited about Marin, super excited about... And I don't even think it has to do with the fact that, like, none of these characters are going to be hard to gear. And I'm going to have a relic, Veteran Smuggler Chewie if I go for Rey. So, like, it's not a big deal. Just, I wasn't as excited for this one, but I do think it's great. It gives players that option that if you go invest in that Vet Smuggler, you get Zalbar, you do an additional relic of Clone Wars Chewbacca, and you've got a Tarfful team ready to go. So, I really like that. Again, it's another great move that they did. So then you've got Cere here with your leftover unaligned Force users, and I think this is awesome. This is exactly what we needed. Is you just have these random unaligned Force users kind of hanging around, don't know how to use them, and she's going to be the home for them. We also got Terran Malicos, who's come to the game, who's going to go with Cere. I think that's great too. Again, another really strong lifter for this faction that, I think will make them a force to be reckoned with. So Cere's definitely going to be one of those characters that you're going to want to have on your radar. But my thing that I would say here is that, like, Cal Jr., as I'm going to call him, is legit, right? You can throw him with Rey, you can throw him with Starkiller, and they're both going to get better. You can even throw him with the Cere Junda team above, and he's going to be better, right? My thing here, right, is that, like, Rey, Starkiller, they kind of have these established teams, and Cal's going to kind of come in and upset that balance a little bit. So there is that to keep in mind, right? So in my personal opinion, if you guys haven't kind of got it here, Cal Sr. is a later game character. Cal Sr. is not somebody that you should be going for in the early game. You're not going to have the roster to take advantage of all the pieces to make use of his requirements. And that's a big difference when you compare somebody like Cal's requirements to, like, Starkiller, where Starkiller gets very easy to fit in Mara Jade, Dash Rendar, Kyle Katarn, and Darth Talon, right? Those are very easy characters to fit into teams. And I'd even make the argument that Afra's characters are easier to fit into teams than Cal's. I think Cal's require a much larger roster to be able to take advantage, and I'll say take full advantage of these things. Again, maybe that's a bit pessimistic of me. Maybe I could be wrong, but I don't see me being able to recommend you go for Cal at a lower galactic power level, because I think he's just, it's a lot, right? These requirements are a lot. And I'm going to show you guys one last thing before we go here, right? And this is something that I think will kind of maybe seal the deal a little bit for just how absurd Cal is, right? So, we're going to go to, come on. Need to get this open. There we go. Pull this up. Now we're on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.gg now, right? And if you go to Cal Kestis, this is the gear I need for Cal right now. 1,200 Carbonis. Remember, this is 5 characters. This is not Cal included, right? So 5 characters. I need 1,200 Carbonis. 2,100 total Kyrotech. right? 900 of these, stun guns, right? So gear-wise, I mean, this is a lot of stuff. Now, notice it says you don't need relic mats, because remember, his event unlocks at gear 12, which sounds awesome, until you think that you're not going to keep those characters at gear 12. You're going to need them at relics for everything else in this game. So, that's kind of this double-edged thing, because you need to even do the bonus mission, you need like Cal and Cere at relic 7 anyway, so there's a lot of, signal data out the door and stuff, so it adds up. Don't get fooled by the no relic mats. Like, that stuff is going to add up for you to be able to get use out of him. But I want to show you guys this. This is 5 characters here, right? I don't know if you guys can hear Zeus drinking in the background, but I'm not editing that out. Just going to tell you guys that right now. But this is my gear that I need for Ray. So obviously I need the relic mats. But look, I need 200 more Carbonis. I need more stun cuffs. But look at the total Kyrotech. I need less total Kyrotech to get Ray than I do to get Cal. And that should be your indication of just how late game I think this character is. That for the investment you're going to end up making in Cal, for 5 characters, you could probably go get a Galactic Legend with that gear. And so Cal himself is not on the level of a Galactic Legend, but requires the gear outlay and from the Kyrotech perspective that a Galactic Legend would require from you. So take that with what you will, right? I want to leave it up to you guys again. I just feel that Cal's definitely later in the game. I think there's going to be a lot smarter things for players to be building. He's definitely going to be something that if you're in one of those larger guilds, you're going to need to get him, right? I mean, there's no way around that. That's something that I think a lot of times people don't always fully comprehend, is that like your later level guilds are going to want this guy for the bonuses, right? For that extra rewards and stuff. But I think for the purpose of a lot of the noob guys, right, you're coming into the game, you can't worry about him. I get it, he's the new shiny toy, but right now, your roster is not prepared to handle what all you're going to put into him just to get him, and then realize you need Jedi Master Luke for him to be able to lift that squad up. Those are my honest thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think down below. As always, smash that subscribe button, leave your likes, leave your comments, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.